Hi, I'm Simmone. I was born in Toronto and raised in Scarborough. My childhood. So a lot of people don't think that racism is really a thing in Canada, but it definitely does exist here. My family moved to an area in the suburbs of Toronto called Guildwood, which is in Scarborough. Guildwood was a very white neighborhood back in the early 90s. And so my dad had bought the local restaurant bar. And so I can remember having my birthday party there when I was turning 11. And I had invited all of my friends, and it was really exciting because, you know, we were eating and we were enjoying and we were playing games and having a lot of fun. And I remember when I went to blow out my candles, something else took my breath away. I looked at the window and there were 3 men dressed in full KKK regalia, just taunting me. At that age, I didn't really understand what the Ku Klux Klan was. I just knew that they didn't like me because I wasn't white. I can remember after that, my dad went outside and he confronted these men, and he wound up beating the shit out of all 3 of them. My dad's kind of badass. He has a 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo. And, you know, he was born in North Korea, and he had 2 rules growing up. Number 1 is you never throw the first punch. And number 2, it's always better to fight at least 2 or 3 people. At least it keeps your mind sharp. But the amazing thing is what happened after that. He dedicated himself to rehabilitating these men. He worked with them and gained their trust and became their mentor. And over the course of years, would tell them stories and teach them things and work with them. Even though at the beginning it was tough, like they just threw out so much hate towards him, and he still kept going, kept trying, working with them. He even lent some of these guys money to start their new lives, a new career. And this was money that we didn't have. And I remember at that age, I was really upset by this. And I thought my dad was dumb. I was like, can't you see they hate us just because we're not white? Like, stop helping them. We're struggling, not them. Spend time with me, Dad. But he worked with them and with drug dealers and all the bad eggs in the neighborhood, and he actually successfully cleaned up the area. I found my old journal, and 4 years after that birthday, a neo-Nazi skinhead had come up to me and apologized for being a skinhead. You know, I just read this journal a couple of years ago, and it was in that moment that I realized what an amazing thing my dad had done. You know, he decided that in the face of hate, he was going to show love and compassion. And I think he knew back then that if he just kicked their asses and then did nothing else, these men were going to continue to do this to other people of color. They were going to maybe even have kids and teach those kids their ways. And this cycle was going to go on, and there would be more hatred and more racism. So I think it was actually pretty cool what my dad did. And I can recognize that now. I think the most interesting thing for me was very recently realizing that I had internalized a lot of racism after that. So I was racist against Asian people, Korean people, and consequently myself. You know, I never had Korean friends or Asian friends really growing up. I never learned the language. I didn't even really want to eat the food or I didn't want to be a part of that. I was just concerned with proving that I was just as good as a white person. So all of my decisions and everything after that was just trying to prove people who doubted me wrong. I wound up getting an internship with a very high-level organization as a teenager, and the CEO and founder was of Aryan race, I suppose. And he kind of said that Asian people don't speak German. So I think that also was me trying to prove that just because I was Asian, or just because I was a woman, or just because anything, you don't get to tell me what I can and can't do. So this man actually took me under his wing, and he was mentoring me and would later try to molest me. So, you know, I think that was my way of saying, fuck you. I later went on to learn German and study in university in Germany. And I did experience a lot of racism there. You know, I was spit on. People would yell shit from their cars like, go the fuck back to Japan. And I'm Korean mostly, and I was like, we were allies in the war. Like, what? I mean, I was dating actually, I dated pretty much blonde-haired, blue-eyed men for most of my serious relationships. Guess I was always trying to prove that I was just as good as a white person. And in Germany, I was dating a German guy, blonde hair, blue-eyed, and we would actually have old men physically walk into us to separate us. Dirty looks, slurs, the whole deal. Yeah. The most important thing that I've recently realized is that I, for whatever reason, was more focused on proving that I was just as good as a white person that I literally forgot about who I am as a mostly Korean, little bit of Japanese woman. And it's only now that I'm really, really interested in fully embodying who I am. You know, I speak all of these languages. If I've lived somewhere, if I've worked somewhere, if I've had friends of a certain country, I probably speak a little bit of that language. But Korean, Japanese, any Asian language, way over my head. Nothing. I got nothing in the tank up there. So if anybody out there loves K-pop and K-dramas, or just really likes Korea, and you've managed to learn a phrase or how to order something at a restaurant, or you know anything, a song, maybe you can comment below and help me learn. Tell me how you were able to learn. Just give me tips, because I think actually, maybe I shouldn't be learning from Korean people. Maybe I need to learn from people who had no basis whatsoever of Korean, and maybe that will help me learn easier. So, comment below, help me, please. Love you, please, help me. ting, 사랑해.